Hello, and welcome to Beyond the Business Cage. I'm Michelle Markman, founder of ND Coach Inc., and I'm here with Lauren Perlingi today, and I'll have her introduce herself.
Hi, so happy to be here with you. So my name is Lauren Perlingi. I am an intuitive human design business guide, trauma healer, and a shamanic practitioner. I have a lot of other titles, but I just feel like those, for the purpose of this interview, are probably the most important ones. And the way that I help women is mainly women that have complex or multifaceted trauma liberate themselves from the past, go from victim to victor. And I use my signature blending of um, Theta Reiki, practicing with human design, my intuitive wisdom, and I help support people discover their true energetic blueprint aligned with like purpose. A lot of people come to me for like, what's my like purpose, clarity, or like confidence. And I use this, like I said, through astrology mixed with human design. And I just believe that every woman carries a unique purpose and sacred gift that is meant to share, like be shared with the world. And a lot of people just really don't. Maybe they're new to this, or they don't really know where to connect with courage, or maybe their inner truth or their inner wisdom. So that's kind of like what I do and help people with.
I love that. And I agree with you. There really is a special group of people that only you can help. I absolutely believe in soulmate clients. So I think it's very true. So I'm grateful to have you here. This is a space for entrepreneurs, coaches, and side hustlers who are ready to explore what's really keeping them feeling trapped and what freedom could actually feel like in business. This might not resonate with everyone. So if you feel like your business is expansive, let's talk about that too. So,
Yeah.
what does your business or your entrepreneurial journey look like from the outside versus what it actually feels like in your body?
So what it looks like from the outside is lately some of my clients were like, Lauren, kind of tell me how you were so successful and how much and how I can make money like you. And for me, I was like, what is it? Like, how does that look like? Tell me kind of how like that looks like for you. And I guess the way that I embody the energy, like what I just said, is people think I'm very successful, which, I am. I'm not saying that I make, tens of thousands of dollars, a year, but at the same time, success looks like different for everybody. And for me, success looks like if I've helped, I just say one person, and I feel like that one person kind of translates into 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people. I mean, obviously I've helped a lot more people than that, but from the outside, people, I think they see it as I'm very successful. I have everything that I want. My life is perfect. But the inside, or how it feels like in my body, I have to say that doesn't feel like that all the time. I feel like I still have my own self-sabotaging patterns that I'm going through. And I feel like I'm very like authentic, raw and real. I share kind of all parts of everything. So for me to sit here and talk about it, it's very vulnerable for me because, you know, I want to, be looked at as an authority figure. And but I also want to be real, like for people listening, that you can still share part of your um things that you're learning and still be looked at as like, okay, she knows what she's talking about. I feel like the realness to that is that I'm human. And last Friday, I got more clarity on my mission here, and with my mentor, I had a psychic business session, and I've been asking the universe, like, what's my mission? Like, I feel like I'm kind of like I was disconnected from it for a little bit. And she gave me a lot of clarity around it. And it was basically, if you believe in the metaphysical, we did she was channeling, and obviously from source, God, whoever, like, however, whatever you believe, um, a past life of mine that I, at a soul level, was basically, I needed to remember that I was a volunteer here. So I'm basically an interdimensional scientist, and I'm here to study um, emotions, human emotions, and the Earth's energetic patterns, basic and energetic patterns, and I should also say self-sabotaging patterns. And I'm not here to create karma. There is, everybody has a different path, and the only reason why I'm kind of saying this and I feel called to say it is because I feel like in my perspective of the work that I do, I offer a lot of clarity without judgment. And I also hold space for people to remember who they are. And people are like, I need you to teach me, how to be this or how to be that. And I don't really resonate with that because I'm just here to help you remember who you are. So from the inside, I feel like I, you know, gave a long answer to this. It doesn't always feel good to my nervous system because, I'm still learning to be human, just like the rest of us. So
Yeah,
thanks
absolutely.
for
I
the
think, yeah,
question.
it's okay. No, I think that a lot of the time it can really appear like our lives are a little different than they are, on the inside from the outside. And I think that's one of the things about social media. And what I love about content creators today is that they're really sharing, some of the messy middle stuff and some of the challenges that they're going through too, because we're still human and we still are living our lives and we're still going through things. It's not like you just get to a point and you don't have problems anymore. We want to have champagne problems, right?
Right. Yeah. One day. Phase 3 of our life, I should say.
Right.
Yeah.
So, when would you say you first noticed that what was supposed to give you freedom was starting to feel less expansive, more like a cage, or just not as fulfilling as what you thought it would be?
Probably, probably would say like about a year ago. I started to kind of get into the same patterns. Probably maybe like a year and a half ago. I was repeating patterns that I've noticed of self sabotage. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it was, self sabotage. That I kept hiring these mentors that I've already learned lessons from, and it was just like a different experience and a different human body kind of thing. But it was like the same experience, and I noticed that I was starting to get into this loop of what am I doing? Like, I don't really like what I'm doing anymore. Or, I wasn't, like I didn't have a lot of one-on-one clients. People weren't showing up to my membership calls. I was like, what's going on? And I realized that I was like, oh shit, like this is another pattern that I'm repeating that I need to like cut off. So I obviously had to go inside and figure out why I was attracting these mentors that brought out shadows or whatever it is, and going through that again, I think I learned my lesson this time. Um, I always give people the benefit of the doubt, especially when I bring them in my world. And I thought that I was supposed to help them in a different way. And I just started to get very bitter. I don't know if you know much about human design, but I'm a projector. So bitterness is not my not self theme, not supposed to be there. And I would always feel a huge sense of bitterness when I would connect with them. I would hear about them. And I just knew at that time that I just needed to listen to my intuition. And as much as I love them dearly, amicably for my part, I had to just cut off ties with them and just move in a different direction. And that was rewarded. I was rewarded from that because it's like it was hard to do. And I do have a lot of empathy and compassion for people. It's a huge part of like literally my entire business, that like self-compassion that I had to remember. I also had to give it to myself. So that was probably my biggest lesson the last couple months, especially with us in Mercury retrograde. It was like I needed to clear it out, or it's going to blow up in a big way, and of course it did. So
Yeah.
that was that was that, and there's that.
I mean, it really goes to show, you have to listen to your intuition, and or it's best you'll be best served by listening to your intuition, and it's so easy to get into your head and just start to think about things and try to intellectualize something and think, well, I shouldn't listen to my gut or whatever, my solar plexus or wherever I'm getting the messaging from because logically XYZ. But if you really want a good outcome, you got to listen to your body because your body knows way before your brain, and your brain can logic things all upside down.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
interesting that you said solar plexus because I actually, a funny story yesterday. Um, my daughter, she likes to play with my tarot cards and oracle cards. And she's like, Mommy, let's do a reading. So I spread them out for her and she was picking cards for me and it was all solar plexus. Of course, hers was all like heart. So mine were all pretty. Hers were green. She's like, I don't like green. And I was like, well, it's okay. Like, okay, just pick out your cards. Like, oh my God, calm down. She's like 5. So of course she's just looking at the color. She's like, Mommy, why are yours yellow? And I was like, oh my God. So like I realized through this whole experience I just talked about, you just said solar plexus. I realized my personal power is actually coming back because I didn't realize that these 2 individuals that I had in my community for so long were actually stealing my personal power. And to be honest, I was allowing them to do that because they were in my community and I'm responsible for me. So I didn't realize that, you know, my personal power, my business, everything, that I am is now coming back. And it's like, it feels good and it feels free and liberating. And that's ultimately what I always want to feel is like free.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that. And it's so true. You have to really be present with your body and with your boundaries. And when something doesn't feel right, listening to that is going to make all the difference. And there really are such things as energy vampires. And even if someone doesn't, I think if they don't intend to be, I don't really think too many people set out to be an energy vampire. It's just that
Right.
energetically, some beings don't work well together. And if you're
Right.
being drained by people in your community or in your circle, then you're not going to be showing up as your best self. And that's not going to serve anyone.
Right.
I'm going
Mhm.
through a little bit of a chapter of trimming myself. I recently went through a divorce and I'm just kind of restarting at this point. So I'm very much in the messy middle and going through a lot of removing people from my life and kind of waiting to find new people to bring in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
definitely
what
understand.
I'm sorry.
I said I definitely understand that. That's a hard chapter. So I'm here. I'm always
Yeah,
here if you want to chat.
thank you. What story do you tell yourself about why you should feel grateful or successful when you don't? Or do you have stories that come up?
When I don't feel successful.
Yes, or
Okay.
grateful. Yeah.
Um, I try not to tell myself, like, I try not to should on myself. I try not to act like I should be doing anything or should be doing this, should be doing that. So I try to just always be like, embody the energy of being grateful. I know that I also have to um, go with the ebbs and flows of life. And I was listening to a podcast yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, and it was um, basically what he was saying was that, we should all be in this, the fabricated shit that comes from the spiritual world of like, you have to do this manifestation process, you have to do this, you have to do that. It's like not real. And I mean, some of it I do agree with him about, and some of them I don't. I can't remember his name for the life of me right now, but he basically was saying that, everything in our life is predestined and, obviously we have free will and, it's like we just have to wait for things to happen. And I just feel like if I'm supposed to be somewhere or if I'm supposed to have that thing that I want so bad, it's going to come and I need to detach from the outcome because I feel like once I attach myself so much to what I want, it doesn't happen. And what I notice is like I don't care. It comes faster. So I feel like when I don't feel successful, I try to just really focus on my mindset and figure out maybe what I could have done differently. Or I just wait until the right thing to happen. Or I'm still grateful. Maybe it's a lesson. And I always think of it as like rejection is just protection for me. Um, it's just kind of like a mindset thing that I'm like, well, if I didn't get that, that means there's something greater. My mentor always says this or something greater. So it's like I always ask for something, but I'm always open to something better. So that's kind of like how it's really mindset, that I'm like, okay, that's fine. But then I want something greater or different, So it's like I don't have to sit in that victim, like, why didn't I get this? What am I not worthy of it? Am I not good enough? Am I not doing this and that? Like, I feel like you can get yourself in a really tough space if you end up down that rabbit hole.
Mhm. I think it's easy to do too. So it is important to have a good mindset and to stay positive. And you're right about manifestation. When you really, really want something and you're super focused on it and you can't let it go, it's not going to come in the same way as you're like, okay,
Yeah.
it comes in, and then it's there. And so it's so funny.
Yeah.
What would you say, what part of running your business creates the most activation in your nervous system? Is it sales or visibility, client delivery, or something else?
I think it is a mix of things. I think it's visibility, but I also think it's when I work one on one with clients, like especially with my energy, huge activations happen when people talk to me, like just in sessions, or if it's just when they get to connect with me. Um, I also like that personal, like deep one on one connection. Not everybody does. I feel like everybody has a different strategy, but at least for me, that's the biggest, and healing sessions too. Cause I feel like even though I'm doing healing sessions with like a client or somebody like somebody like that, it also goes for me too. So I feel like those two definitely, like when I'm working one-on-one clients, or when I'm doing healing sessions.
And how does your body respond when you think about scaling or taking the next step in your business?
Excited, kind of I guess excited and kind of nervous, I feel like, because it's the unknown. And I feel like the human part of me is like, well, what if it doesn't work? Or, I feel like the ego part is like, oh, you got to be just don't be seen, play small, that kind of thing. So I feel like fear kind of can take over sometimes, but I just don't allow it. Like, I feel like that came with a lot of many, many years of mindset training to kind of like train myself to realize that if I allow fear to creep in, it's not going to happen. Or, that doubt of like, what if it doesn't happen? And I kind of just wait. It's weird. And at the same time, it could be like counterintuitive that I just wait to see like what comes through. Cause I feel like when I try to control it, it doesn't happen. And it kind of goes back to what I've learned about manifestation over the years of trying it both ways. And when I completely detach to like, I'm not just sitting on a hill meditating. Like that's not happening. Like I'm actually doing, tangible things, and I'm doing like the masculine part of my business, but I'm also in feminine part of my business too, and not always in the masculine part, because the feminine part is receiving. And I feel like most people's blocks are they're not able to receive. They're constantly doing. And then when they're supposed to be receiving, they don't, because they're not there, like presently there, like, all, very present in their business.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's something I've personally been working on is just when something is offered, I say, yes, I'm practicing receiving.
Right. Yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
wants to buy me a coffee? Sure. You want to pay for my parking? Of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saying yes to anything that comes in because I think as women, especially, we're sort of conditioned that we need to be serving and giving all the
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
And we get into this place of that masculine energy of do without slowing down and waiting to receive and accepting. So I think it's a good practice. Can you walk me through what happens in your body during a typical high pressure business moment?
Sure. So I, because I have multifaceted trauma, I work very well under pressure. So, now I should say, well, I can kind of go back to like how it was. Um, I guess this is probably a good way to put it is like if I have like car trouble, like something that's so surface level, like like my tire, I have flat tire or something like that. I cannot deal with it. It's just like I can't. I'm like this is the end of the world for me versus like if it's something truly like oh my god. I had a situation, it's been like 3 or 4 months now, maybe like 2 months, that I had to go after like something legal in my business. Somebody copyrighted all my content pretty much. And I then had to seek legal help and advice. And in that moment, it was very easy for me to focus on, okay, I know I need to focus on this. I know I need to do this and not get like, how can I get revenge? How can I, for me, let me go blast her on social media, all this stuff. And it was more like laser focused on this is the problem. Let me fix it. And then I'll regulate my nervous system. So I'm sure my nervous system, it's probably not the right thing to do. Like I probably did it completely, but like I was really calm. Like I was very clear headed and not didn't get distracted, focused on what I needed to do, and then figured out the next steps. I feel like a lot of the times because I always say I build my business like with the divine. So I allowed the universe to help me kind of figure out what was going on. I was very aware of all of this last year and I just didn't want to listen. And I just kept giving this person the benefit of the doubt until I have clear evidence of like, oh my God, she took all my content. Like, what is going on? So I think it was a lot of different things. And then I just allowed my body to feel the anger, feel the sadness, feel the hurt. And then I just allowed it to leave because I didn't attach to it because at the same time, it's just like that was the lesson that I kept having to relive. And I just was willing to let it go. And, you know, um, I feel like not attached to it. Like that's not my worth. Like that's something that it was like a mirror, or I should say a projection on what they needed to learn. So,
Mhm. Wow, what a thing to go through. I mean, to have someone come and take all of your content, that's kind of
yeah, it was like, I was going to say, not all my content, it was more of like my signature program, and then turn it around and have a smear campaign of me doing that to her, which was false. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, this is crazy. Like, first, I got a cease and desist from her, and I'm thinking, the hell did I do? Like, what are you talking about? And then I was like, oh my God. So for the last year, she was having people pay for readings from my website, from all my information from Human Design, which I copyright my website because all of my stuff on my website is in my perspective. It's not from Google. It's not from ChatGPT, like all of her stuff was. It's from my perspective that I wrote, that I built for the last 4 or 5 years. So for her to take, like, then that's what she was having, charging people a portion of her sessions. And I realized that when somebody sent me their soul blueprint reading, and I was like, wait a second, that's my wording. And I'm like, oh my God. So then I had a whole bunch of other things like come through too of like her stuff. And I was like, oh my God, she's been scamming people for the last year, calling herself this spiritual teacher. And I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. So,
wow. Wow.
yeah.
Go through.
it's like, wow, people are really getting exposed here. Gosh.
Yeah.
So I just felt like I needed to do what I needed to do just to kind of get her away from like, don't do this again kind of thing. But she didn't. She just tried to do this whole spear campaign, which I'm like, I went through this with my ex-husband. You're not doing this again to me. I'm not learning this lesson again. Like, I'm not okay with that, because like I didn't do anything wrong here. And here I am just minding my own business. And here you are doing what you're doing. So yeah. It was a hard couple weeks, I should say, like a month ago.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges of being an empath is attracting narcissists, and they just kind of come out of the woodwork and they get involved, and it's not very fun, but it's definitely something that you can learn how to cope with. And it sounds like you have a pretty good strategy, a pretty good setup on how to deal with these kind of people, and you handled it well. So
Yeah.
preaching to the choir, you already know this.
I was gonna say, yeah, I was very proud of myself because I mean, me 5 years ago would not have done that. But I'm like, you know what? I don't really, to be honest, I don't have the energy to. I just needed to make sure that she wasn't going to do this anymore, and I can move forward because, like, that's it. Like it's just, she can learn her lesson somewhere else with whoever. But I'm, I was like, I'm done. This is it. you know.
Good. Awesome. What would your business feel like if you could run it from a completely regulated, grounded place?
Um, It would probably feel like how it feels on a normal basis. I feel like I literally have to be grounded and regulated or nothing in my business works. If I'm coming from a place of like how I used to run it, it was very, I would operate in a very wounded masculine. It was always like go, 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 go. Like I said, I'm a projector in human design, so I run my business a lot different than the rest of the world. Or a manifesting generator or generator, they have the same amount of energy. They can run their business. They have the same amount of energy when they wake up that they go back to sleep and wake back up. So they run their business very differently because they have endless energy. And for me, my business, I can't run my business. I mean, I run it every day, obviously, but I'm not on all the time. Like I have a lot of breaks. My strategy literally is to rest a lot. I don't have that sacral energy. So if I was having sessions every single day, having 10 to 20 clients, like these people message me, oh, like, do you want to book no, I don't want to book my schedule. I just don't no, that's not appealing to me. I don't even know who would want to talk to 20 people a day. I do not. I love people, but people are also exhausting, so it's like, I have to be grounded and very, like emotionally stable, for my business to operate. If not, it just doesn't flow. It's chaotic. It doesn't feel good in my body.
Right. So it sounds like you've kind of gotten over that little hump of, figuring out how to have the nervous system regulated while running a business. I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, especially when we're starting out, and for those people that are kind of under the 10K months, I think that there's this learning curve where you have to figure out how to regulate your nervous system. And until you can do that, you're not going to hit those consistent 10K months because it's just you're running a business from a place of chaos and a place of that wounded masculine where you're just go, go, go. And if you don't slow down enough and regulate enough, you can't receive the clients and, the money and whatever else you're trying to bring into your business because you're so busy putting out energy that you're blocking everything. So,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if I come from a place of that, my biggest advice there would be, like, I was there. I feel like all of us are there, have been there. Maybe I'm there sometimes, but I know how to kind of like cycle out of that. If I'm just like go, 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 regardless of like what energy type you are, as long as you're in your strategy and you're in your authority, I feel like that you do the masculine piece of your business and then you have to be in receiving. So like not worry, not this client gonna sign with me, like not anxiety, all that stuff. And you have to just regulate, I know it's easier said than done, but it's really not. Like, and that could trigger a lot of people saying this, but it's not. Like, as long as however that works for you, if you can regulate yourself, however, if it's somatic, if it's working with a coach, if it's whatever it is, business coach, healer, mentor, whatever, therapist, I feel like it's so much easier to just receive because you'll miss that part of it. And that could be ultimately the block in why you're not kind of excelling.
absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you on that.
Yeah. I know that could be very triggering, but at the same time, it's like I've been through it. I was there too. Like I think I'm sure many of my coaches have told me, like, you just need to receive. I'm like, how do I do that? Like, how do I do that when I feel chaos? Like I need money or it's like, then it's like, well, it's your relationship to money. Why do you have this? Like, why do you feel like you're not worth it? And it's just like, when I heard somebody say like money is an illusion and money, yeah, like this and that, it's like energetically, it's like you have to have a different relationship with money. It's like, okay, so like let me work on my relationship with money. Because at the same time, it's like we're the only people, like the 3D here, are like that care about money. So it's like, how do I raise my vibration to attract more money or attract high vibrational people that have money? Like that,
Right.
it's like just wealth to them, you know? So that's also something that I've learned too, because high vibrational people are wealthy people. They operate at a different vibration. It's not like that vibration that I used to operate at, or most of us in the 3D operate at. They don't work for somebody else. They're the ones that are paying other people. You know, they just have a different relationship with money. And I feel like that's probably the easiest answer. And I was like, there's just no way. That seems too easy. And then I was like, oh, it is actually the answer. It's just wild. But your human brain is like, that's not the answer. That's not it. So I was like, well, whatever. It could not be it, but I'm going to try it. And it really was it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. What would you tell someone watching who feels successful on paper, but they feel trapped in their body, or they feel like they want to raise their vibration and they just don't feel like they can, or they don't know how?
well, the first thing I would ask is like what success feels like to them, like not what it looks like, but what it feels like. So I just feel like if you have a lot of money and you don't feel successful or you don't feel like rich or wealthy, then you really don't have a lot of money, because it's like you just have that material wealth. And it's like what I would kind of help them really understand like what their relationship that is to money, and then figure out from there like how I could help them feel um differently about the relation with money. And it's usually ancestral, or it's like my mom told me that money is evil, or my grandmother had a lot of money and I don't want to be like something like that. So I feel like the simplest answer would be, to answer your question, would be like how, like just different questions on like how money feels to them, what success looks like to them. Because I feel like if it's you're successful on paper, I feel like you also need to feel that, because you can look at, I have $1 million all day, but I mean, let's just say, for instance, like these wealthy, celebrities, like there's a high suicide rate and a high depression rate. We'll wonder why. Because they have a lot of money, but they're inside, they hate themselves, or they're sad, or they just have shitty mindset, or, they just need, they don't have both. And I feel like I would rather be poor than have a bad mindset than have a lot of money.
I love that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, so where can people connect with you if they want to learn more about what you do or book a session?
So I'm across all social medias. If you just type in the Mermaid Light, you can find me under Lauren Uberly Perlingi. It should be two, or you can, I think I switched it, but it is Lauren Uberly Perlingi, just so people can find me. Or my link tree, which I think I sent to you, that has all my links on there too as well.
Okay. And what's one thing you wish you had known when you first started feeling a sort of disconnect in your business, or like you were struggling to grow your business, that you know now that you wish you'd known then?
Um, Probably that I can start anywhere, that just because I can start over, I should say. So, like, if I fail at one thing or I try this thing and it doesn't work, I can always start over. I feel like I got so stuck in patterns and repeating patterns instead of just stopping and then starting out, like starting something new or doing it a different way. I feel like that kept me so stuck for so many years, and repeating different things and listening to my intuition. Probably should have done that a long time ago.
Right. Right.
Very long time ago.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny. I feel like as women, we're conditioned that, not to listen to our intuition. And as a society, I mean, I think Americans in general are conditioned to sort of do what we're told with the
Yes.
media and, education and everything, the way that we're raised is sort of just do what you're told and don't ask questions and don't do research and don't learn about things and don't listen to the wisdom that's within your body, which is very much that feminine energy that I think a lot of us are bringing back in 2025. We're kind of over the patriarchy and we're ready to we're ready
Yeah.
for a shift. So thank you so much for being here, Lauren Perlingi. It's been wonderful speaking to you. Um, if anyone feels like they are really struggling with getting unstuck in their business, if they feel like they're dealing with fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, and they just can't move forward, I have a momentum reset program that's available. It's $497 and it's 2 weeks of high touch coaching support. And you can find out more about that in the links in my bio. Thank you again.